would not be difficult, my Führer. Nuclear reactors could... I'm sorry, Mr. President. Nuclear reactors could provide power almost indefinitely. Greenhouses could maintain plant life. Animals could be bred and slaughtered.
Now I am become death, destroyer of worlds.
-1 minute. Put on your goggles. Observers without goggles must face away from the blast.
One plane, one bomb, one city. One plane, one bomb, one city. One plane, one bomb, one city. One plane, one bomb, one city.
Fallout from atomic explosion. Every nuclear or thermonuclear bomb throws into the air a large cloud of radioactive particles. These man-made radioisotopes
Ladies and gentlemen, wanderers of the desert highways and seekers of the peculiar, welcome to a place where reality bends like the rusty signposts of forgotten Americana. Nestled along the faded ribbons of Route 66 in a landscape marred by atomic whispers, we invite you to the AtomicShamanSweatlodge, a refuge from the eccentricities of the road, and perhaps a gateway to realms unseen. Picture it. A motel and RV park, rising like an oasis from the dust-choked trails of the Mojave. Here, under the flickering neon of our vintage sign, adventurers and wayfarers from every corner of this odd world converge. Amidst the cacti and Joshua trees, our grounds hum with a mystique that only a land scorched by nuclear fever can possess. Step into our realm, where time echoes the distant rumbles of atomic tests, and the spirits of old Route 66 still whisper their tales. Our sweat lodge, a centerpiece of our peculiar establishment, promises a journey beyond the mundane. Within its sacred confines, bathed in the warmth of ancient stones, you may find revelations, or simply respite from the ceaseless road. So, fellow travelers, if you're seeking a break from the relentless sun, a glimpse into the curious mysteries of the desert, or merely a haven amidst the fallout of modernity, the AtomicShamanSweatlodge beckons. Embrace the allure of the unknown. Join us as we navigate the surreal corridors of this radioactive expanse along America's Mother Road. Here, at our crossroads of past and future, let the adventure begin anew.
An average man with an average life. I work from 9 to 5. Hey, hell, I pay the price.
Hey, and we're back. It's been another 2 weeks, and I've got an update on my health. The chemotherapy is working. The spread of the tumors have stopped along my neck. There's no scarring, so in other words, it's working. I'm thankful for it. I get to dial my dosage down for the summer because it will make me more light sensitive.
Hell yeah.
And with that, we got some weird shit in the news. We got Midnight in the Mountains with us here, and Smug joining us.
Oh yeah.
Pleasure to be here.
So we got a box demon in Pennsylvania. I got this up on the screen. We'll cut to the video later, but I'll tell everybody about it at home who doesn't have video of the show. The people of Pennsylvania can rest easy now that police have identified the box demon who was caught on a doorbell camera leaving an empty box on a front porch in the middle of the night. On Tuesday, the Northern York County Regional Police Department was made aware of a person who was approaching the home in a clown-like costume while wearing a colorful paper plate mask with tissue paper cut in flower petals. Attached to the outside, cut eye holes and a giant grin, like with drawn-on teeth. The York County Regional Police Department investigated a suspicious person in the first block of East Avenue 10th and the North York Borough. The police said in a statement the person wearing a mask brought an empty box to the homeowner's front door. Police said the person rang the doorbell and identified themselves as the box demon. The homeowner does not know the person, however. The homeowner does not know what the mask or the term box demon was to represent. The suspicious person left the empty box on the front porch and walked away from the house. Police added the community contacted the department and if they can identify the box demon. And they were quoted as saying, "I am the box demon. I am the box demon. I leave you with this gift. This gift is for you." And a person could be saying this directly into the doorbell camera in a video released by the police. Shortly after the neighborhood was made aware of the box demon, the police identified the person and shared a brief news release. The person's identity was not publicly released, so I'm assuming it was a minor or a kid, you know?
Yeah,
Demon.
probably. Sounds like the kind of jackassery a kid would do.
Hell yeah.
So we got this up on
Honestly-
the screen.
Honestly, to leave a box on someone's front porch and that scare them enough to call the police is hilarious.
Yeah, like usually you're worried about people taking the boxes from your porch, not leaving them.
Yeah,
or
worried
lighting a
about,
bag on
like,
fire.
lighting a bag of shit on
Oh,
fire.
shit,
yeah.
You know. This kid's like, you know what? I'm gonna instill horror into this person.
This is like 8-year-old's fucking art project right here.
Yeah, it looks like pajamas or something, like footy pajamas.
Be like, you know what
Yeah,
would be funny
pretty much,
to
right?
give the homeowner instead of dog shit on their shoes?
Uh-huh.
Psychological trauma.
Psychological wounds take longer to heal.
That's true. That's
Now,
definitely
grant you, even if it was just an empty box, looking at that video camera, I would want to be afraid of what he may have left in it as well.
in the box.
That's insane.
Just like I would tell you, if you're going to do something, do it well and leave something with you. Leave a sign to let the world know that you were there.
Yeah, that's the spirit.
Yeah, they were afraid the guy was
Nothing but
putting like
empty
chemical
boxes
weapons
in
in
it,
there,
right?
like ricin or like anthrax.
Yeah, no, this guy, he steps it up, dude. There's nothing in the
There's
box.
nothing in the box, just disappointment. You know,
Terrorists would be like, write that down, write that down.
we're gonna leave nothing. What?
Nothing. We're gonna leave nothing. They're just gonna know we were there. At some point, we
Exactly.
could be there again.
And leave another box.
And leave another box.
So
The boxes just get bigger and more harder to move out of the
or
way
he left
of
a
the
box
door.
inside of a box, you know, to really mess with him.
He drops the refrigerator box
Ooh,
off
like
next,
those,
leaves it
like
right
those
in front of the
Russian
door.
dolls.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So San Francisco has erected a statue of a demonic goddess Astoreth in the nude, and it will greet visitors in front of the ferry building. Astoreth is a name used in the Hebrew Bible, and the later text refer to a Canaanite goddess commonly identified as Astarte, and ultimately linked to the Mesopotamian goddess Ishtar. So Astoreth is portrayed as a foreign pagan goddess, worshipped by Israel's neighbors, especially Sidonians, who were the Phoenicians. Often condemned in the Old Testament as a false god, and whose worship led the Israelites astray. King Solomon went after Astoreth, the goddess of Sidonians, in First Book of Kings, chapter 11, verse 5, which considered a great sin. Her worship involved idolatry, sacred groves, sometimes ritual prostitution, and child sacrifice, depending on the source. Astoreth is generally understood as the Hebrew version of Astarte, a prominent goddess of love, fertility, and war. Astarte was worshipped across the ancient Near East, including by Canaanites, Phoenicians, and Egyptians. Astarte is the sister or counterpart of Baal, another major figure in the Canaanite religion. So the name Astoreth is thought to be a deliberate Hebrew distortion of the Astarte, combining Bosheth, which is a Hebrew word for shame, and reflects the biblical author's disdain for the cult. So similar linguistic mockery happens with Mephibosheth, or Meribaal, or Ishbosheth. That's all a mouthful. And way too many consonants.
Yeah.
Man, that's gonna look so good, covered in homeless shit and piss.
Don't forget the
For
heroin needles
real.
and the empty Narcan bottles.
Oh yeah, dude. Fucking, it's gonna be so cool. I can't wait to watch people make a cardboard complex around it. It'll be badass.
So a man walked into Walgreens in California, killed an employee because police said he had a grudge against large pharmacies. Madera Police Chief Gino Quiramonte said Narisco Gallardo Fernandez entered the store and opened fire, killing Eric Velasquez, and it appears the killing was random, as the police said there is no known relation between the two men. Suspect was captured on surveillance video obtained by sister station ABC 30 Action News in Fresno, waving with his gun in the camera, saying something inaudible, then shooting out the camera in front of the store. Fernandez allegedly shot at the employee and the customers as they left the store, but no one else was hit. Quiramonte said it appears that Fernandez drove more than 80 miles from Pixley to store off the Cleveland Avenue, arriving at 9:30 p.m. local time on Monday. So Fernandez was taken to custody outside the store in the parking lot, which was captured in police body cam footage. Detectives say he was reloading his gun when the officers arrived. Interviewed by Madera Police, the chief said that he told them he hates big pharmacies. However, Quiramonte added that they have not yet found a connection between the hatred of the broader healthcare system, nor do they see this inspired by Luigi A. Mangione, the man accused of killing Brian Thompson, the CEO of United Healthcare. Velasquez was not a pharmacist in the store. The store's pharmacy itself was closed at the time of the shooting. Quiramonte said Velasquez is a well-known community member who leaves behind a wife and 2 children.
Oh.
So it just sounds like a schizo with a gun. You know, there's just no.
It's definitely, especially if he's trying to go after big pharma, he just goes to his local one.
Well, it was a big. I guess it was a big store.
Takes it out on Walgreens.
Right, that poor dude.
Yeah,
Like,
dude.
sir, this is a really small pharmacy. What are you doing?
Officer, please.
We don't even have a drive-through.
Yeah, we don't have a
It's
drive
closed
window,
right
dude.
now.
We don't have a drive window, dude. The little old lady's got to come in here and be like, "You have this?"
I need my Percocet.
Yeah.
So, police are searching for a sicko accused of sexually abusing a man's corpse on the Manhattan subway, according to police sources. The unidentified accused necrophiliac is sought by the NYPD for allegedly having sex with the dead man on the R train. Around 11:45 Tuesday night, police sources said he then left the Whitehall Street subway station to Lower Manhattan shortly after midnight, sources told the Post. The deceased man, who had not been identified, was believed to have died from natural causes. Investigators did not know if they knew each other or not. Person of interest identified by the police is a heroin addict. His brother told the Post from the front door of the Bronx Thursday. His brother said his troubled sibling had been staying with him ever since he was released from prison a few months ago, and he had been locked up for a while. His 56-year-old brother had told him that, though he could not remember if it was for robbery or assault. He's quoted saying, "I have not seen him in a few days, and he's never done anything like this in his life. Not that I said he did, I just don't think he did that. He's not that type of person." He was saying that he took things out and put it in the guy's, "Yeah, well, I don't think he did that. He's not a pervert." The allegations against the suspect, who was one of 7 siblings, had left his family in shock and mad, his brother said. They were saying that the police need to do better investigation because, quote, "My brother's not like that no matter how bad the heroin addiction is. He's not like that." And he insisted blessing himself.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Coming from personal experience as an ex-heroin addict, it's those who put on the painted face that are the ones you always have to watch. Because I was able to deceive not only my family, but everybody around me for 10 years straight before they realized that I was doing really nasty stuff in my personal life.
I never thought I'd be so relieved to hear someone say heroin addict. When you said speaking from personal experience, I was like, oh, thank God he's not a necrophiliac.
Dude, I was holding my breath, dude. I'm like,
now that part of my life is still a secret. No.
So police are looking to speak with a
personal
woman.
experience. He was asking for it. He told me spiritually as he left my body. He's like, "Hey, man, have fun."
That's fine.
Well, fine is in serial jail for necrophilia. Just asking.
So police are looking to speak with the woman who handed the deceased victim a cigarette of some kind before he died, and the man committed sexual acts on his lifeless body, sources said. They'd been rummaging through the man's pockets after he smoked and became unconscious, according to police sources. So the dead man had boarded the subway around 8 p.m., and the suspect got in about 3 hours later, although it's not clear exactly where. Sources said he first made contact with the dead man around 11:20, and by 11:45, security footage showed the twisted suspect engaging in sexual acts with the victim.
That shit is fresh.
Fresh, warm.
That shit. That's insane to me, dude. Fucking, you go into a subway, you're dead, you're looking down on your body from, as
You're like, why is this guy violating my courts?
Yeah.
Speaking of
you
astral
watch this
projection.
guy get on the subway, start walking over to your body. Hey, what's he doing? Oh God! He's got my fucking legs up by my ears. Jesus!
At least it didn't go to waste.
Oh God. Jillian Lauren, the wife of Weezer bassist Scott Schreiner, had been released on $1 million bond after she was involved in a police shootout and charged with attempted murder, according to TMZ. Publication previously reported the cops shot Lauren in the shoulder in the midst of an altercation. Now, law enforcement sources tell TMZ that Lauren also fired a single shot after ignoring multiple commands to drop her weapon. The shootout took place Tuesday afternoon when Los Angeles Police Department was searching for a hit-and-run suspect around LA's Eagle Rock neighborhood. They entered a residential backyard. Laura emerged from the neighboring residence with a handgun. Police told her multiple times to drop the weapon, and she refused. She then pointed the gun at the cops, and fire struck her in the shoulder. She later was transported to the hospital, where she was treated for non-life-threatening injury and booked with attempted murder. The cops found a 9mm handgun at her residence.
Just proof
At
that
her
cops
residence.
can aim when they want to.
Right.
Stop you.
That's weird. At her residence, yeah, dude. People probably have guns at their house.
Yeah, it's
They
kind
mean
of
on her person.
That's what they
Did they
wrote,
not
man.
find the gun though?
I wonder if they just planted it on her. Like, yeah, she took a.
Yeah, dude, she shot at me. Where's the gun?
Sprinkle a little crack.
Quick, go
I
grab
swear
it.
it was right there.
Quick, go grab it from her nightstand.
Go grab it from her nightstand. We got a warrant. Don't
Put her
worry.
fingers in the hole.
So,
Fingers in the hole.
Troy Casey has received a steady stream of press for his unorthodox wellness regimen, which includes the daily practice of drinking his own pee. A former model and author of Ripped at 50, Journey to Self-Love, Casey had been drinking his own urine for years and regards it something as a diagnostic tool. He's quoted as saying, "I think it teaches your insides a little bit more about yourself," he told the Post. Urine has stem cells, amino acids, and antibodies. It's the hair of the dog, a direct biofeedback loop. And you know what's wrong with you as soon as you drink your own morning pee? Well, I think there's something.
Yeah, you're drinking your own piss.
Yeah,
I know
that's
what's wrong with me too.
Exactly.
So,
I'm a therapist.
So Casey was introduced to urine therapy by a breathwork coach who, unsuccessful round of chemo, claims to have healed himself of testicular cancer through urine looping. Atkin, who was feasting in urine looping, is a practice of drinking only your own urine as supplemental water for a designated period. Casey goes by the Certified Health Nut, has previously made the headlines for sunning his anus and was up for the challenge. So I remember there was a whole theme about sunning your balls. So I guess it's the guy who did it.
Okay, I just saw him the other day. He was doing some fucking shit with these two bodybuilder guys, and he's like, "Yeah, dude, you got to slap your balls and face the sun. It fucking boosts your testosterone." And
Yeah,
I'm
because
like,
I remember
"Oh, it's
guys
a
were making
parody,
memes of it
right?"
where they were putting the mirror around
Yeah.
their junk and then aiming it at the sun.
That shit was hella funny.
Sun gaping.
Who's the psycho tracking this record?
I don't know. But 2 decades
Right?
later,
What
he
happens
is
if you
a
sunburn
urine
your
convert.
asshole?
That's what I'm thinking. I'd explain that one.
Fucking, yeah,
Direct
dude. Fucking,
vitamin D.
oh man, I'm peeling so bad. Fucking rips off your pants. What the fuck are you talking about? I thought you were sunburned. Yeah, dude, take a look at this. Fucking, it's
God.
Oh,
ever
It's
seen
a red eye.
red starfish? Yeah, it's a red eye.
Yeah, so spreading the good word about the worth of waste. So this piss wizard also gives himself urine enemas and rubs it on his skin for treating acne and using it as a sunscreen. And to my own personal horror, I found out he lives in Scottsdale, Arizona, and I just applied for 3 tech
you have
jobs
fun
there
with
last
that.
week.
Yeah, you're gonna work as his fucking temporary assistant.
Well,
boy.
we end up with him as a next door
Oh.
neighbor. It's like, oh god, the piss wizard's up.
Imagine.
Sir,
Hey,
what
man,
do
I
I
brought
smell
you-
on your breath?
He's like, "Hey man, I brought you a coffee." You fucking look at it, you can smell the piss. You're like, that's not coffee.
Or he's distilling his own piss and to make his own bourbon or whatever.
Daryl.
So, a member of the Zizian, the radical vegan cult whose members are largely transgender, was hauled out of a California courtroom Tuesday after accusing jailhouse guards of trying to forcibly detransition him and wanting to kill him. So Alexander Latham, a 29-year-old transgender woman, was attending a hearing at Solano County when he launched into a paranoid field rant accusing, according to the courthouse news, Latham was accused of attempting to kill his landlord in Vallejo, California in 2022. He was quoted as saying, "I am not suicidal. I've never been suicidal. If I am killed, police in custody, it was murder." He was shouting this before being restrained and removed. The accused attempted killer also claimed that he was being detransitioned against his will with hormone therapy as part of a quarter-century conspiracy against trans people. Latham, along with his fellow Zizians, Sri Dow and Emma Borhanian, allegedly attacked 82-year-old Curtis Lind when he planned to evict him from his trailers on his property, according to prosecutors. Lind was inspecting a leak at Dow's trailer, and then he took a blow to the back of the head and blacked out, according to authorities. The landlord told police that he woke up around 50 stab wounds and a samurai sword stuck in his torso, and 3 Zizians standing over him. Holy shit, that guy is hard to kill. Lind, however, managed to grab his gun and start blasting, wounding Latham and killing Borhanian, and prosecutors called this self-defense. Well, yeah, I don't know what wouldn't.
I would say.
It took you 50 stab wounds to wake up.
And a sword through your chest.
And a sword through your chest. Damn, bro. I've seen video game characters die from less. That's crazy.
For real.
This guy's got like really high stamina and like constitution scores.
You play Super Smash Brothers, you see the 300% line. He's just, it's just 500%.
This guy's got a boss health meter. Landlord.
I will not fall off this stage.
Dude's like, oh, you think a 50-hit combo could fucking kill me? Nice try, dumbass. Like, yeah, pop.
So, at a recent Osaka Kansai Expo review, Kawasaki Heavy Industries unveiled something that seemed to pull straight from science fiction or perhaps a high-budget video game trailer. Perched on 4 mechanical legs and designed to be ridden like a horse, a prototype called Corleo is unlike any concept vehicle the company has introduced before. It doesn't purr or roar, it doesn't roll, but it strides powered by hydrogen. So it's not just the limbs that make it unique. The Corleo is powered by a 150 cubic centimeter hydrogen-fueled engine and a hydrogen fuel cell. Not to Japan's push towards cleaner, carbon-neutral mobility, Kawasaki says it's the only thing that comes out of the tailpipe is water, possibly even chilled water, and future versions come with a built-in dispenser. Still, this is all wild promise of Corleo is just a concept and a highly speculative one at once. So the prototype stood on stage at Osaka, could stand and pose, and there was no leaping from rock to rock or galloping at 50 miles an hour. Dramatic video shown alongside presentation was just pure CGI that they admitted. Target date for any real deployment sometime in 2050, so that's a long ways off if we're ever going to happen. But that hasn't stopped onlookers from imagining what might be possible. The robot's design was inspired by Animal Companions, a video game like Horizon Zero Dawn, where humans bond with advanced machines in post-apocalyptic wet landscapes. So I'm thinking that Japan's bringing us closer to having Zoids or real Gundams to pilot. But you know what I think would be cooler to ride than that would be a dire
armored
wolf.
core. Oh, the dire wolf.
Make
That's not even a real dire wolf.
Again.
Yeah, so the dire wolf had been extinct over 10,000 years, and the 2 wolves were brought back from extinction using genetic edits derived from the complete dire wolf genome, so meticulously reconstructed by Colossal. That's the name of the company. That ancient DNA was found in fossils dating back 11,500 years and 72,000 years. The moment marks not only a milestone for the company, but a leap forward for science, conservation, and humanity. So beginning their goal had been clear to revolutionize history, be the first company to use CRISPR technology to successfully de-extinction previous lost species. Yeah, so they were saying by achieving this, we'll continue to push forward our broader mission on accepting humanity's duty before Earth to a healthier state, if not a complete dire wolf. So I think it's only just 20% dire and 80% modern wolf. So
yeah, unfortunately, we're going to have to pull their funding.
And they also made woolly mice, but they're not going to release those, even though people want those pets.
Woolly mice?
Yeah, because they were like working on the woolly mammoth shit. and
That's
bringing back the
how
dodo
crazy.
bird. They were saying like, Gattaca was a movie based in the future where your DNA determined your profession and other things, but now we're living in the future. But this also goes to the whole biblical thing. So in the days of Noah. So if you hold that belief, the Megafauna to have Nephilim DNA, and people joke about bringing back cavemen to fight in the UFC, but you can make an army of super soldiers utilizing DNA from ancient warriors like the Scythians, and that's what the Russians are working on. And Joe Rogan actually joked on there saying, "Man, it's like all we're gonna do with this DNA stuff is make our dicks bigger and cure baldness, so
Basically.
everybody looks like Jason Momoa and what's his name, the guy who plays Thor. I can't even think of his name right now.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah."
I was gonna say we need to pull the funding from that company. I know they're doing great, but I sure as fuck
Right
don't
now.
want a Jurassic Park incident.
Yeah, I mean, there's who's to stop a Saudi prince or one of these guys from I need
And-
one of these animals for
Hey
my
guys,
collection.
I made a
You're
fucking.
absolutely right.
Hey, check
you
this
don't even
out.
need a
I
large
fucking brought a
company at
T-Rex
this point.
back.
Yeah, you don't even have to have a large company to do it. Like I was
wait a
mentioning
minute.
before, you could go on Amazon right now for $150 and actually buy a CRISPR kit. Now, getting the genes for the dinosaurs is another story, but if you have the right connections, I say you would be able to get them.
I just thought of something. You brought up woolly mice earlier.
Yeah.
What about a T-Rex the size of a chicken?
Oh hell yeah!
T-Rex are kinda cool,
You
dude.
know,
a teacup T-Rex, dude. Fuck yeah.
Oh,
Never mind.
You know what?
We're back in it, bro. We're back.
Losing a finger would be worth it to that.
Or like small
Fucking,
raptors.
I'd say so.
yeah, dude. You fucking see this little fucker? You fucking look down. He's
With
so
its tiny
cute,
little
dude.
arms.
Fucking, yeah.
Your Chihuahua
He's
starts
just
mounting them.
Oh,
fucking. What was that? What was that meme? Remember who you are. I lost my armor. Fucking T-Rex getting humped by a chihuahua.
You train them up, you feed them yourselves, and if they die, you'll bury them yourselves.
So, getting on the subject at hand, and some people get them to remote viewing and what's it called? Astral projection.
Astral projection.
They think they're the same. They think they're different. So, Beer Juice, what is astral projection?
All right. In layman's terms, people typically describe it as an out-of-body experience. The most basic version people are familiar with is something like during a car accident or whatever, and they're viewing themselves and the entire situation at hand play out until all of a sudden they're stabilized and they find themselves back inside their body, and they, in that whole experience, watch their body and everyone working on them, the surgery, all the rest. That's the most basic version of it that most people are familiar with. But astral projection is more advanced than, or at least there's more versions or passages of it than just the out-of-body experience. That's just the standard by which the average person's probably familiar with it. So astral projection is basically the practice of trying to move your, depending who you talk to, soul, consciousness, or mind beyond your body so that you can observe space that is beyond the physical world, and in most cases still be able to view the physical world while you're doing it. That's probably a good summation of a basic overview, because depending on what practice you're talking about in regards to astral projection, there's extraplanar astral projection, spiritual astral projection, all types of variations. Some of them even tied directly to different religions and meditative practices in general. So, in the matter of discipline, it's something that would be self-induced through trying to come to a kind of synchronicitous harmony between mind, body, and soul, so that you can participate in space that is beyond yourself. Alternatively, you can induce astral projection. One of the ones everyone's is always familiar with is like, what do they call that? The spirit walks or whatever, where they use one blanket on it.
I was thinking of dream walking. That's what the Aborigines do.
Dream walking.
Yep.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
the CIA's version is the Gateway Project and process, I should say.
Right. But yes, so the whole point, there's lots of ways to do it. Inducing it with drugs, inducing it with trauma, inducing it with discipline, induce it, you know what I mean? Like, all sorts of ways of doing this. Yeah, and if we're going back to the most common experiences, the one that require no effort, lucid dreaming, sustained lucid dreaming, leading to transient states is another one of the ways the average person might experience time to time. And also, because of lucid dreaming and things like this, there's some relative discussion around the fact of whether someone is actually a sleepwalker. I'm sure you've seen these, like, lots of incidences surrounding, like, oh no, you're a sleepwalker. No, sleep paralysis and all these other things being confused for astral projection. But when someone was actually observed, it just turns out, hey, my eyes are open while I'm sleeping and I'm a fucking weirdo. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so I'm not going to bother getting into all the different methods, disciplines, process, or beliefs around it, because I could just spend forever doing that. But it is important to understand because it's actually kind of part of pop culture now. What is it? Ayahuasca trips and all the other stuff, and
correct.
And whatchamacallit, DMT in particular. People talking about the clockwork gnomes and all this other crazy shit. So it's important to understand the basic concept of chakra and universal harmonics or resonance, because the entire experience of going through astral projection actually requires someone to sustain, in order to have a transience, a resonance with a, let's say, a plane of reality. That's probably the best way to describe that. So when you talk about having your out-of-body experience, your resonance is harmonious in mind, body, and soul with the physical plane. When you talk about having a extraplanar experience, your mind, body, and soul are harmonically resonant with another plane of existence, which is where we get to things like using DMT or ayahuasca to find things like clockwork gnomes. Because if you're beyond the physical plane, which is the place you dwell, the entirety of most of your understanding of the universe is comprised of, you're drifting into another plane that you don't necessarily have the sensory to understand, which is where a lot of this confusion occurs, in terms of trying to interpret what's actually happening. And this is a whole area of discussion that goes into all sorts of hypotheticals that I'm not going to lay out, because I know what is popular right now when you hear the term astral projection is some version of this combined with the out-of-body experience. Because people are trying to use astral projection to do things like remote viewing. And it's important to understand, in the matter of astral projection, since you are able to gravitate between different planes, the idea of projecting yourself outward to view a space that you may have never seen is entirely possible. The problem is the path by which you would get there through the physical world might not necessarily be known to you at all, because you've not used your entire physical processes to understand the travel to that thing. And in extraplanar sensory, there are what we would call nodes in terms of energy in your navigation, and they act very much like magnetic north in a certain way. As you develop yourself and your extra sensory, and there are books on how to do this if you're interested in astral projection. As you begin to reach transient meditative states, you can be more sensitive to positions of different energies or flows in extraplanar areas. And I'm not going to get into doing that, but it is also very important to know that with all of the nerdy fucking new age shit I just said, there's one particular element in astral projection that's overlooked or underobserved, of critical importance in the entire practice and experience of astral projection, and that is tethering. Tethering is the basic idea that no matter what you're doing leaving your body, there is a cord essentially tied to your physical self and wherever you're projecting yourself to. And if that is somehow severed, you will not necessarily be able to return to your body properly.
Yeah, 'cause they were saying that's what happened to Anton LaVey, that he was astral projecting, and there was some preacher guy who claims that his prayer warrior severed his string, causing him to die. And they also said that risk with astral projection is, like, while you're away from your body, something else can enter your body, like another entity or something,
right
with you.
Yes. So as you get more into some of the basic practice of astral projection, what you'll discover very quickly is things like the concept of a ghost are not necessarily supernatural to an experienced person, because hypothetically, in the event of your death, you could be tethered or have your tether severed in the process of experiencing your passing. And if that were to occur, then what the fuck else would happen besides you become a ghost? At least your conscious self. Trapped in this weird experience of extraplanar activity that's still entirely sensory to the physical world. But yeah, tethering. So in basic practice, I guess it would be fair to describe it as, at least I've usually heard it described this way, there is a 3-part process for being cognizant in your practice, and that is to establish your base or your physical self. It's not something that should be compromised, and it should be something while in your transient state will be completely undisturbed. Your stem, or funnel, or focus, which is the catalyst or process by which you're projecting yourself forward, and then the tether attached to the self in astral projection. At any point, if one of these things are interrupted, it can cause oh my god, words. A contraction of yourself. And what ultimately happens in return is, because you've not regressed yourself, it's an immediate withdrawal. Your mind, body, or soul, or all three, can experience what you'd probably call astral, spiritual, or extraplanar trauma. And that could manifest in the form of things that look like curses or even bad luck, mysterious bruising, autoimmune deficiencies, sicknesses that have that are entirely diagnosable through symptom, but not actually diagnosable medically, and all sorts of other weird phantom things. So that is, I could keep going and going and going and going and going, but I happen to know that one of the people here actually practices it. And I'd like to open the floor to him if he would like to discuss more about what he does personally. I'm not particularly well experienced in doing it, but I am well learned in it because I, all right, used to go to a place with experts. I'll put it that way.
Well, to introduce myself, the one who's speaking at this point is Midnight in the Mountains. My real name is James, and I'll just leave it at that. But everything that our guest just spoke about is absolutely true. There are many multitude of ways to have these situations arise in your life, and near death is one of them. But breath work is one of the easiest ways to get yourself prepared to enter into that lucid dream state for the remote viewing to kick in from that point forward. So me personally, what I use is when you mentioned about having a synchronicity when it comes to uh having these situations happen, that's absolutely necessary. And I use the process called hemisync. So it's actually using frequencies that will allow your left and right brain to attach itself to each other and work in synchronicity. So as a story and I guess kind of just like an example of this happening is in January 16th, a tragedy happened in India, right? I just started to get my grip around Rumble and I started to do my morning streams. The one morning, and at this point now, a lot of people will say that you should keep a dream journal, and I have done that for many years, but at this point now, I no longer need it whatsoever. When I wake up in the mornings, it's like I've actually lived my life within that realm or that reality or that spiritual plane because I don't have full control over where I go, not yet at least, and that's where the practice comes into play. I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm an expert in the subject either, but it's just my own personal experience of what keeps happening almost on a nightly basis to me. But the most raw form is there was the stampede, and I actually brought the article up. January 16th, India had one of their most holy days, and it was when they all went to the river to wash themselves. I believe if you go
Ganges
back
River?
into my stream, what was that?
Was this the Ganges River?
Yeah, I believe so. Yes. And so there was 30 people that got trampled in this situation that happened. So everybody was running in fear. Now, I first entered the lucid dream state, but then I went into the remote viewing end of things, and I found myself in India. And I woke up that morning. It was about 4:30 in the morning that I woke up, and I went on my Rumble stream. And you can go back to it's still up at this point. I believe it was January 8th or 9th that that stream happened. And one of the first things that I started to talk about was this absolutely breathtaking scene that I found myself in. And I kept telling everybody at that point, I was like, you guys have to watch India at this point because I don't know exactly what's going to happen. But I was drudging through garbage and shit. And that's not trying to talk down on them as a third world country. It was just my experience of what I was going through, and I was surrounded by dozens of people basically trying to get out of each other's way. I was like, there's going to be a tragedy that's happening, and this maybe not just remote viewing, but a bit of like the predictiveness of it as well. And about 9 days later, or from the 9th to the 16th, I come back on my stream and I open up the news article, and here is this exact the image that they have on the news article that I have pulled up was the exact thing that I have in my mind. Even the barricade barriers of like the little wooden fence posts that they were trying to get through. Um, Secondary to that, another example that I've had using the gateway process, and now this is the one that I use in particular. The CIA released files when it comes to this process, so it's something that's easily you can look it up. I actually have the entire catalog of all the frequencies. So if anybody would like to use them, I have them saved without you having to go to YouTube and go through any of the commercials or yank them to yourself. So if it is something that you're interested in exploring, I actually have the entire catalog on my Google Drive that I can send to you guys. I've sent it to a few people on Rumble already, Apple Eater being one of them. I actually created the collection for her because she asked me to. But other than that, secondary to the predictive end of things, now I lucid dream every night, but I don't get predictions every night. These are, I want to say, far and few between, but the two strongest was the situation in India, and then another one was a very close family friend of me and my wife's. We'll just call her Taylor, right? Taylor just got married 2 years ago, and in that time and us knowing her for the 15, 16 years that we have, she has never once wanted children in her life. She's been very vocal and adamant about not having children and showing her expression towards not wanting to bring a child into this world. But ever since she got married, now me and my wife may have thought, maybe she will be looking, maybe she's not. Is she the same person? Well, I go into my dream state again, and I find myself in the family living room of this girl's family home. At that point, they were still living at her parents' house when her and her now husband first got together. Uh, there was some sort of party going on in the living room, and everybody was conversating. My wife was sitting next to me, but Taylor was sitting opposite to me on a love seat while me and my wife were on the couch. And in the middle of the dream, everything froze and stopped in mid place. She stares directly at me, and she has this big shit ass grin on her face. She's smiling ear to ear, and all that she did in the dream was lift her shirt up and rub her stomach 3 or 4 times. And then I snapped into reality again. There's a little tidbit of information that I'm going to get to after the story of the timing of when you should try to do these things. But back to that. I woke up again around 4:30, 5 o'clock, and the first thing I do is I message Kaylee because I'm like, well, this is either telling me two things, is that she's secretly now trying to have a child with her husband and she's not wanting to tell her family about it because everybody would judge her in that sense of you lived your entire life not wanting them, so on and so forth. Or she has no idea she's about to have a child and she needs to take extra precaution, right? So over the years, she's had her IUD in and all the protections that most women usually have at that age. So I reached out to her 5 o'clock, and then about 2 hours later, she calls me up frantically, kind of almost screaming in my ear, not understanding how I got this information and why. Because when I woke up that morning, her doctor's appointment was an hour and a half later that morning at around 8:30, 9 o'clock to actually have her IUD removed. Um, they are absolutely now trying to have a child, and that's a complete opposite of what she was before. But at the same sense, she told me, "Did you ask any or tell anybody else and reach out to anybody in my family about this situation?" Because the shit ass grin on on her face is what told me that it was a secret. And she, to this very day, and that's why I changed the name even, because if anybody knew me from Rumble in my close family, I had to use Taylor. To this day, they still don't know that they're actually trying to have a child, and that's what got her so frantic, is because I literally plucked out a secret that was only in her and her husband's mind and reached out to her about it out of nowhere. So that's secondary. We as human beings are much stronger than we can ever believe, and I'm not sitting here trying to say that I'm some energy crystal guy or like a hippie that chakra and Reiki type deal. It's just we need to pay attention to our subconscious a lot more, because it is always absolutely trying to tell us the truth of what our reality has in the future. Not only that, but what's happening in our lives right now and overnight. These are two very specific situations that made me realize that when I fall asleep, I need to be paying attention. And I found the best times to do it, at least again for myself, but I've heard from many others that this is the best time. They call it the moonlight hour or the witching hour, right? Between 2 and 4 a.m. So if you're wanting to explore this and you explore the hemisync end of it, but again, meditation and breath work will do you just as well. It's all about really just calming your body down to a point where, like you said before, it becomes in sync with everything around you, the resonant frequency. You hit that one right on the nail on that. Once that actually begins to happen, if you say you go to bed at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, wake yourself up, have an alarm or something just set to wake yourself up at 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. Sit up for about 15 and 20 minutes. And at that point, when you start to fall back asleep, is when those situations are just amplified beyond belief. Because every single day of my life at this point, I've been doing this practice and dedicated to doing it between 2 and 4 a.m. is when these types, I can have a dream at 10, I can have a dream at 11, but it's between 2 and 4 a.m. that it just turns into a whole different situation, and these extracurricular situations start to happen. So if that is something that you're interested in following, look into hemisync. You can find it on YouTube. Again, reach out to Atomic and just let me know if you guys are interested in getting that material that I have saved, and I'm more than willing to share it.
That's cool. Yeah, I've heard of people try to do alpha meditations to do their stuff. I'm an insomniac, so I have difficulty sleeping. So
I'm
usually
the
I'm
same
usually
way.
wide
Yep.
awake at that time. It's like there's no way I'm going to
Mhm.
set an alarm if I fall asleep early. It's like I'm trying to get all the sleep I
Right.
can, you know. And then I'll get to the more less woo-woo stuff, but we'll get to the remote viewing and how it's different than the other stuff. So remote viewing was claimed ability to perceive, see information about a distant or unseen target using extrasensory perception without relying on the known five senses or physical interaction. It's often described as a form of psychic perception. Here's the key point. So, a person called a remote viewer attempts to gather information about a location, object, or person that is hidden from physical view. The target can be separated by distance, time, or even exist in the past or the future. The viewer typically gets only vague clues like coordinates or a random number to prevent consciousness from guessing or a bias. So remote viewing was studied by the United States government during the Cold War as part of programs like Project Stargate, hoping it would be used for espionage. It was developed to a more structured protocol by people like Ingo Swann, Hal Puthoff, and Russell Targ at the Stanford Research Institute in the 1970s. Remote viewing is considered pseudoscience by mainstream science. Studies have produced mixed results, and critics argue the positive findings that lack proper controls are not replicable. Supporters claim it's real, but it's hard to say due to its subtle and subjective nature. So here's an example scenario. Let's say a researcher gives a remote viewer a number that's randomly assigned to a hidden photo in an envelope. Viewer then meditates and focuses and draws on what they describe, what they see, and then later their data is compared to the actual photo. So in the early 1970s, U.S. intelligence committee got wind that the Soviets were investing in psychic research, including ESP and psychokinesis. Fearing they might fall behind a potential psychic arms race, the U.S. began funding their own similar programs. So the CIA, along with the Defense Intelligence Agency, then later the Army, sponsored programs that tested remote viewing under controlled conditions. Ingo Swann, a psychic, had helped develop a formalized method for remote viewing, creating what's known as a controlled remote viewing. Targets range from military installations to hostages, submarines, or scientific locations. And it went through several names. It was first called Scanate in the early 1970s, and then it changed to Gondola Wish, Grill Flame, and then Center Lane, eventually consolidated under Project Stargate in 1991. So some high-profile remote viewers and program insiders claimed that success stories like locating a downed Soviet aircraft, gathering intelligence on secret military facilities, and sketching a Soviet submarine or missile site accurately before confirmation by satellites, but these claims were highly controversial and often unverifiable or inconsistent. In 1995, the CIA commissioned the American Institute for Research and evaluate the program. So their conclusion, while there were occasional hits, the data lacked consistency and operational value. The program was officially shut down in 1995, and some remote viewers like Joseph Monigel had continued publicly support and teach remote viewing. So there was a case about a Soviet submarine in 1979, also known as a Typhoon-class submarine, remote viewing session. So the remote viewer was Joseph Monigel. His code name was Viewer Number 001, a highly regarded remote viewer in the program and a U.S. Army veteran. The target was the Soviets were building a massive secret submarine in a shipyard near Severodvinsk at the Arctic coast. The U.S. intelligence had vague satellite data, but very little else. McMonigal had been only given geographic coordinates and no other info. During the session, he described a large submarine under construction, a dry dock structure and a massive hull unlike anything he had seen. He claimed the submarine had double hulls, launch tubes, and would carry multiple warheads, a significant leap in Soviet naval capability. The outcome was months later, satellite imagery confirmed a Typhoon-class nuclear submarine, the largest ever built at the time at that location. Many of his details included a twin-hull design, which were later verified. The session was cited by the program opponents as one of the most successful examples of remote viewing and actionable intelligence. Even skeptics admit it was impressive, though they debate whether it was true ESP intuition or pattern recognition or just a lucky hit. There was another alleged case where in the 1970s, Swan claimed he had secretly was tasked to remote view locations on the moon. He was supposedly being observed by intelligence officials or contractors not publicly confirmed by the CIA, so that could have been like Booz Allen Hamilton, because they usually contract for the CIA, who were curious about the moon's surface, and he supposedly being observed. Okay, so he claimed that he saw structures and buildings on the far side of the moon, towers, domes, and machine-like objects and roads. Humanoid beings working on the surface, seemingly mining or constructing something. He described these beings as aware of his own presence, which freaked him out in a way that they could sense that they were being watched. He said he got the distinct feeling that he was being observed, and it was not a good feeling. So this is where it gets wild. And he later recounted in his book, Penetration, the Question of Extraterrestrial Human Telepathy, and he claimed that he was involved in secret projects beyond public knowledge. He encountered individuals in intelligence circles who were deeply concerned about extraterrestrial content. He was later warned never to speak of what he saw. There's another case. It's the Mars remote viewing session in 1984. So this session was conducted on May 22nd, 1984. The viewer was Joseph Monmigel, again, the same guy from the submarine case and the moon viewing. So he was tasked from the CIA or a contractor, and the transcript is now declassified. The planet Mars, time of interest, approximately 1 million years before Christ. Yeah, no warm-up. They just said, hey, view million Mars.
1 million?
Yeah. So viewer had no idea what the target was. Yeah, 1 million years ago. So they gave him a sealed envelope, coordinates, and he started talking about massive ancient structures like pyramids, large obelisk-like towers. He said there was a dust storm-ravaged environment with a thin atmosphere and a reddish light. He said there was very tall beings, between 7 and 9 feet tall, and they were very thin, wearing strange clothing. He said they were dying, hiding in underground shelters, or trying to escape. He got the impression of a cataclysmic event like an environmental collapse or a planetary disaster. He was quoted as saying they're ancient people and they're dying, but it's their past, their time, or their age. He also mentioned a spacecraft or an arc-like device that they were trying to launch, possibly seeking refuge somewhere else, maybe even Earth, though he didn't say that directly. It's just an implication that these beings described were highly intelligent and mostly distressed, and they were desperate to survive. He didn't just editorialize, he described what he saw, and he even seemed confused, noting that this was weird. Some people connect this session with ancient astronaut theory, suggesting Mars may have hosted a civilization that tried to seed or escape Earth. He also thinks it's just imagination filtered through subconscious cues. But here's the kicker. The CIA took it seriously enough to record and declassify it. So in the early 1970s, the CIA didn't start with tarot card readers or psychic off the streets, when it came to recruiting. Instead, they partnered with the respective scientists of Stanford Research Institute, which we mentioned earlier, And their approach was to test and train individuals for psychic abilities in a lab setting. So not just take anyone claiming they had supernatural powers or, gifts. So they could visualize clearly and describe impressions. They showed consistency and results over time. They were open-minded but stable. Psychologically, stability was important. They either had a military background for discipline or artistic and creative skills for visually spatial awareness. They found success with people from all walks of life, including artists, soldiers, scientists, psychics from the civilian world. Ingo Swann is the OG when it comes to this. He was a civilian psychic from New York. He worked with SRI, the Stanford Research Institute, which helped design and control the remote viewing process. He claimed to have spontaneous psychic experiences and passed controlled tests with remarkable results. The Joseph Momnigal that we talked to was known as viewer number 001, was a U.S. Army intelligence officer. He claimed to have near-death experiences which he believed heightened his psychic sensitivity. He became one of the program's top remote viewers. And then we had Pat Price. He was a former police commissioner turned psychic. He blew minds by accurately describing secret Soviet bases. He allegedly described one facility such that the precision made the CIA analyst uneasy. The Army eventually took over much of the training and operations, especially under INSCOM, which was Intelligence and Security Command Division. Soldiers and officers were recruited from within, and especially those who scored high in intuition and creative thinking or abstract problem solving. Many recruits didn't believe in psychic stuff. At first, they were just told they were being trained for a new intelligence gathering technique. Once selected, the remote viewers underwent structured training so they would be put into meditation and mental quieting exercises. They would practice sessions on unknown targets called blind targets. They would do step-by-step protocols that started with general impressions, shapes, or colors, and then moved into details like structures, emotions, or materials. There are claims that, unverified but juicy, that some remote viewers were even recruited from out-of-body experience research and even through programs like the Monroe Institute, which explored consciousness and astral projection. So here's where things get a little spicy. So the Gifted and Talented Education Program in the United States was developed in the 1970s to challenge intellectually advanced students and enrich academic material. It focused on IQ, creativity, academic achievement, problem solving, but not psychic abilities. But there are people who are especially ex-GATE or Gifted and Talented kids who have claimed the GATE was a subtle screening program to find kids with extrasensory abilities like precognition, telepathy, or remote viewing. So why do they say that? Well, the main point was often cited that former students were taking strange spatial perception-based tests that they didn't seem academic, things like shape association, dream recall questions, nonverbal pattern recognition. And then they were asked how they felt when they looked at certain pictures type questions. So these were just creative thinking assignments or something more esoteric. Children that were in GATE reported unusual experiences, being asked if they had dreams that came true, being asked about imaginary friends or sensing things. Some even claimed that they were taught visualization techniques, breathing exercises, weird guided imagery that mirrored closely to early remote viewing practices. There are documented cases of intelligence space agencies and be interested in how to identify sensitive or psychically gifted individuals early precipitation by the USSR that possibly mirrored in the US program. So some point to Project Stargate and ask if the CIA was interested in psychic soldiers, wouldn't it make sense to start scouting the youth? So there's a small but vocal group online, especially on Reddit and YouTube, of former GATE kids who feel like that they were part of something bigger but never were told about it. They later experienced sleep paralysis, out-of-body experiences, or high strangeness. They were disproportionately drawn to the occult, psychic phenomena, or creative and abstract thinking. So this is just a personality trend among gifted kids, or whether there's something more to it. So what's the likely explanation? Well, most of this is antecedent and not backed by official documents, but the GATE program did focus on intuitive and creative testing, which may have just felt weird or esoteric. It's likely that it's not a psychic recruitment tool, but it's hard not to see how the Venn diagram and remote viewing and government weirdness and psychic research all overlap with educational testing during the Cold War. But could they have been watching? So if you wanted to find people with unusual minds, high perception, powerful imagination, the ability to visualize and describe internal impressions in detail, well, gifted kids would be a very good place to start. And speaking of gifted kids, you can support the efforts of Van Rollington's abuse of artificial intelligence on patreon.com/Van Rollington. You can support the show at buymeacoffee.com/AtomicShaman, at paypal.com/PayPalMe/AtomicShaman, or streamlabs.com/AtomicShamanSweatlodge/tip. You can purchase some merch at tpublic.com/AtomicShaman Trading Post. We have a new t-shirt design of the cryptids of the Midwest. It's a great way to rep the local legends near home, like the Loveland Frogman, the Ohio Grassman, and the Hopkinsville Goblin. I'll be working another design this weekend to cover the cryptids of the Ozarks, like the Oklahoma Octopus, the Ozark Howler, and the Wampus Cat.
Get the box team in.
So, introducing the Alex Jones Signature Coffee 1776 blend. This bold, freedom-fueled roast is packed with 100% Arabica beans to supercharge your morning and keep you alert to fight against tyranny. Fresh, strong, and patriot-approved, the 1776 blend is the wake-up call that America needs. Use our affiliate link to purchase Ultra Methylene Blue and Optimal Human Superfood Greens at the Alex Jones Store. Type in thealexjonesstore.com/AtomicShaman. With that, we'll go on a nice little 10-minute break, and we'll be back for some fun stuff.
It's better to be a paid hoe than a broke hoe, right?
Truth.
But they're closet believers.
Mr. Johnson, how can you prove to me that the world is flat?
It's the simplest and the easy. It's like every great idea. It's so elementary. It's so simple that you can't understand it. I kicked myself. I was only 18 when I learned how to prove it. I said, my God, how was I so stupid that I couldn't have thought of it to begin with?
Prove to me that the world is flat.
There's no curvature. There's not an inch. There's not any. It's flat. In reality, there's no way to fall off of the flat Earth. But if the world were a ball, of course, you would fall off.
Mr. Johnson feels that falling off a ball is proof enough the Earth is flat. So I asked him about the celestial bodies which the eye and telescope can see are round.
We don't have to explain the stars. I mean, they're just little lights up there.
Like little light bulbs?
They could very well be up in the dome of heaven.
What about the other planets?
The Earth is not a planet. Earth is the center of the universe. I mean, this is the universe. This is all there is. It's just one world, one flat world.
Charles Johnson also believes, because airlines navigate with flat maps, that some of them endorse his theories.
We advise all our members and supporters to fly TWA all the way. They're officially Flat Earth. It's the Flat Earth airline. They use the Flat Earth map. They navigate by the Flat Earth map.
Mr. Johnson, probably the most beautiful picture I ever saw was of the round Earth taken from the moon. How do you explain those pictures?
It's the same world. It was made in the same place by movie studios. Actually, I think NBC and some of the movie studios make much better space photographs, you know, like Buck Rogers and all that sort of thing, as far as superior to the movies that NASA makes. They're actually rank amateurs.
死んだは初めて俺に伝えている。絶望の匂いだ。面白いこと見せようか。ほら、こんなに家賃が多すぎて。お父さん。あかん。ドナルド君、まだ死ぬ時じゃないでしょ。アメリカ、万歳。ファイト。絶対負けないよ。ランドツライドまで。ゼロ。だってまだサンキュー言ってないでしょ。一回も言ってください。おい、仲良くしてね。この世界、季節もいけるかな。昔グレートだった。大きにまたグレートになるから。あのさ、有名人なら誰かのマンコを掴んでいいさ。そうそうそうそう。言い放せるで。
It's a little illegal to leave the wood in the street, so what I'm asking is...
I mean, you don't have to ask me, and I don't take no orders from no woman, by the way. By the way, I don't take no orders from no women.
Somebody said that they tried to yell at you to come back, and you kept going, and
It must have been a woman, and I don't listen to women yelling. I tell them to shut up.
The banks are collapsing, the yields are spiking, the petrodollars are dying, the bonds are defaulting, the monies are inflating, the famines are coming, the markets are crashing, the jobs are stealing, the debts are piling up, the cyber criminals are hanging, the blackouts are coming, tired, bros. I'm tired of this world. When will it be my turn to be on top? I'm tired, bros. I'm tired of this world. When will it be my turn to be on top?
Here's one for you. The EU is the world's biggest scam, and its leaders are nothing but flunky politicians running cover for each other. You ever notice how scandal-ridden politicians never actually fall? Instead of getting fired, persecuted, or held accountable, they magically land cushy jobs in the EU. Take Ursula von der Leyen. She was Germany's Minister of Defense, a total disaster. Her ministry handed out millions in shady contracts to friends and ex-colleagues in a scandal so bad it should have ended her career. Fraud, mismanagement, backroom deals, the works. And what happened? She got promoted, not fired, not investigated, promoted to President of the European Commission, one of the most powerful positions in Europe. That's the EU's real purpose, protecting its own. This is why the EU is a joke. It's a dumping ground for politicians who should be in court, not in power. They don't answer to voters, they answer to each other. And now, this same fraud is pushing Europe into war. You think someone who was pulling dirty defense contracts in Germany suddenly got honest in Brussels? If she was handing out shady deals then, what the hell do you think she's doing now? This is why Hungary, Slovakia, and others aren't playing along. They see through the scam. They're not about to send their soldiers to die for von der Leyen's career, for Brussels' power grab, or for the war machine cashing in on billions. This isn't just another corruption scandal. This isn't about stolen tax money. This is about setting up Europeans to kill and die in a war they didn't sign up for. And who benefits? Not the average European struggling with inflation, not the people crushed by energy prices, not the Ukrainians thrown into the grinder. The only winners are the unelected frauds in Brussels and the war profiteers counting their money. It's a total scam. It's always been a scam, and the longer people refuse to see it, the more lives will be destroyed.
How do you have peace on this earth? You can't have peace on this earth unless you let Second World War die. You want to keep the Second World War going? You want to keep selling and buying Germans and dead Indians on TV every day? You know, that's got to stop. The Second World War's got to stop. And it's got to stop in the Jews. The Jews won't let the Second World War stop. They keep the Second World War going. They keep it going. They keep it going. They keep perpetuating it because they're making money. As soon as the Second World War was over, they never stopped the brainwash. The brainwash that they were selling the American public was making money. You see what I'm saying? They were making money. They're not going to stop making money. If the combination's there to make money, they're going to keep selling it. They'll sell it all the way till I'm in the cell with a guy named Millman, Jerry Millman. And he's got pictures of Hitler and Japanese and things all that. I said, boy, Hitler must have been a hell of a guy. He said, Hitler was terrible. I hate him. I hate him. I said, why do you hate him? He said, I'm a Jew. I said, well, why do you enshrine this guy? Is you your daddy? And he looked up to his mother's fear. And his mother's fear was Hitler. Hitler was like his father figure. He loved Hitler, but he hated Hitler. He needed Hitler to hold him up. Because Hitler was holding his hate up. Because without his hate, he didn't exist.
I'll ask you a question. Why do you still hold these Nazi ideas?
You got any better ones?
Later, I asked Van Bice what a weapon using this technology could do.
Direct them to do things against their so-called better judgment. How easy would it be to assemble a weapon from existing off-the-shelf parts? In 3 weeks, I could put together a weapon that would take care of a whole town.
Over the past year, CNN has repeatedly asked the Department of Defense and the Air Force about radio frequency weapons. After much resistance, DoD finally said that the subject was too sensitive to discuss.
Listen up, man. This is your Uncle Jack. You think you're fit? You think you got the right stuff? Try to beat this. Arms all the way up. Anything short is cheating.
Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds.
Keep working on it. Maybe by the time you're my age, maybe you'll be fit too.
Are you a targeted individual? Have you had a paranormal encounter, or are the victim of an unregulated government experiment and would like to share your story with us? Would you like to send us some fan mail or a hate-filled rant? Do you have an idea for a future episode or wish to send a complaint to HR? Email us at AtomicShamanSweatlodge@protonmail.com. Like, share, subscribe and be sure to check the notification bell. Follow the Atomic Shaman on Twitter at Motel and RV Park. Listen to Paranormal Green Text Stories on Atomic Shaman TTS on YouTube. Catch the live streams of Atomic Shaman Sweat Lodge only on Rumble.
What's the matter? You want to live forever?
All right, we are back for our second half of the show. Did I trigger any memories of Gifted and Talented Brandy? Is she in the portal?
She's in the shadow realm.
Oh, okay. Smug, did you have any stories related to remote viewing?
Remote viewing? No.
Or more of the astral projection stuff?
The astral projection stuff's always been interesting. Like, I'll read stories online and stuff, and I don't dig deep enough to know if they're real or fake. But there's some stuff where, like, I wonder if you can reach something and it get to a point where somebody's like, all right, we can't do this no more.
Yeah, because I think like the more often that people do DMT and see the clockwork elves, they get annoyed because they're busy doing something and they're getting annoyed at all these human tourists going, hey, I saw Joe Rogan and now I'm going to do a DMT trip or do some ayahuasca and fuck with the elves kind of thing.
Fucking the elf looks at you. Another fucking Joe Rogan podcaster. Here we go, guys.
And they just flip you off and they seem like, I recognize the t-shirt, flip them off.
Is.
What is this guy again?
Just fucking sees you immediately. Joe Rogan, huh? Yeah, Joe Rogan.
Yeah, I would love to be like a astral projectionist voyeurist.
Yeah.
I'm surprised most people aren't into that. Be like, man, I want to see people have sex.
Oh, I was going to say I astral project on my toilet after eating Taco Bell, but that's a different story.
I think we need a total shutdown of all migration into the astral realm until we figure out what the hell is going on.
We're going to send them back.
You got to send them back. Send the elves back.
The elves are going to get their own Ton Hammond and send people back. Just mass kick them out.
They're not sending their best.
Yeah, they're not sending their best, no.
All right. So who's this week's guest for Mugshotties, man?
I went deep into the boomer realm for this one. So get ready, you fucking old fucks.
Where is it at? Let's see this.
Oh, hold on. See, I boomered it up.
Hell yeah.
Already.
We're on brand.
Good evening, Atomic Comrades. Let me introduce myself. You may call me Yuri. I am the former chief advisor to Russian Premier Romanov, head Soviet scientist of Joseph Stalin during the glory days of the USSR, and for a brief time, ruler of the world. Albert Einstein called me at one time Hostis Humani Generis, which is Latin for the enemy of mankind. Yes, well, mankind thought they had defeated me. How does the saying go? The reports of my demise were greatly exaggerated. After my shameful defeat to the united forces of the world and their commander general, I was trapped in the Jurassic era. After the chronosphere forced me to travel further in the past than I had intended, it would seem it was game over. Or so you thought. I discovered a power source called Tiberium. And well, the rest is history. Or was your history? I bided my time and traveled through time, meticulously setting the course of history you have today. And soon I will strike again with my psychic forces. But first, I want to enjoy the fruits of my time manipulation. That's right, Atomic Shaman. I am responsible for the creation of Mug Shorty's Smash or Pass. You were merely my shitposting podcast puppets. But no reason we cannot be comrades. After all, we all enjoy what I have created. Let's fucking
Based.
All
I
right.
mean, that's fair, no argument.
So we were manipulated into making this?
I don't remember this happening.
It happened.
He made it so we
It was-
didn't remember.
These
Don't
were
worry,
all
guys.
planted memories
Right,
that I had no
right.
idea of. So our first mugshotty for tonight was arrested for a DUI and evading arrest.
Evading, not resisting.
I guess she was trying to avoid the cops, or like, you know how they set up those trap, where you got to pull in and do a sobriety test. She probably tried to do a U-turn to avoid it. And they probably chased her down.
Oh, that would make sense. I've seen that. Yeah.
I hate those. Those things are fucking stupid.
You know what she should have done? She should have just parked immediately and just gotten the tow ticket. What are they gonna?
Right.
Okay,
Mark,
can they
put
not?
up your-
Can they not
put up
like
your
test you if
visor.
you start drinking in front of them?
Immediately take a swig of fucking cough syrup in front of them and then go, oh, nice try.
Yeah.
After you turn off the vehicle.
Yeah.
All right,
Oh,
so guys, would you smash or let this one go?
She looks a little, dirty. Gives me Orange is the New Black vibes, like the junkie in that.
A little bit, right?
So
She doesn't look terrible.
I've
Yeah,
seen
But I would not
worse.
trust her. I would not trust her around my Great Dane German Shepherd.
Oh my god.
Not
Oh,
unattractive.
no.
A good all natural here.
It's worth like a quick smash. I'm not taking her home to meet the parents or anything like that.
It's worth the quick smash.
Fair point.
Yeah, I wouldn't let her know where I
get
live,
it.
but yeah, I'd probably do it just for.
She's
one
a
of those-
motel meetup. That's
Yeah,
what she is.
it's one of those where you take her to the Airbnb, and it's all like, "Oh wow, you have a nice place." It's all like, "Yeah, right."
Yeah, fucking. Yeah, she thinks I'm fucking loaded.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
what
an easy
was
one
that?
to get away with.
I have
There
no
was
experience doing that, by the way. Wink, wink.
There was a meme. There was a meme I found recently, and it's Dragon Ball, and it's like, "Yo, Krillin, is that your fucking Bugatti outside?" Yeah, man, it's no big deal. Bugatti? I thought you drove a beat up Toyota Corolla. Special be good. It's so fucking funny.
Kawasaki. He drives a Kawasaki. All right.
Yeah, I'm giving her a
All right, Sir Yuri, what do you think?
She shares a similar look to my brainwashed initiate soldiers. It's quite horrifying to see in person, which is why I placed them under masks. Perhaps she needs the same. A paper bag with a carefully cut hole around her mouth.
paper bag. Let's go.
Perfection. Enough to get alcohol in and enough for me to not be distracted, obscured and obedient. Smash.
Okay.
All right.
More intense than it needed to be, but all right.
Yeah. The underlying intensity is
Our
concerning.
second one's a bit of an improvement if you like redheads. She was arrested for felon possession of a controlled substance, false identification, and violating a warrant.
This is the evolved form.
Yeah, this
okay.
this is
This
the second evolution.
This is when you give her a firestone.
Definitely firestone.
Yeah, I definitely would hit on this one. That's smash.
She looks like one of the Instagram fucking Vine influencers.
Wannabe
Very
thoughts.
similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The other one I would take to the Airbnb, but this one I would fuck in the bathroom of the club.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bit much going on there with the artificial look. I don't know. I think I'll pass. That's not a trustworthy looker.
All right. Comrade Yuri, what do you think?
Though redheads are traditionally identified with the Irish. But the motherland is home to many of these black widows. Red like our glorious flag and the blood in our hearts. I and my fellow Soviet comrades found the red-headed Soviet women to be treasures of our great union. And like all great wealth, it must be distributed evenly. But first, the wealth must go through me, like true communism, from the top down. How does the saying go? From each according to their abilities, to each according to their needs. And I have quite a need for a smash.
Okay.
Makes sense to me.
Our next mugshotty for tonight was arrested for open alcohol container and nothing else.
Nothing else.
I'm not really digging the whole death moth or whatever it's called that's on her neck. I don't know if she's a Hannibal Lecter fan or.
We'll find out.
She was into that fucking song from the early 2000s. Was like, "Come, come, my lady, be my butterfly, sugar, baby."
Hey, that was a great song. Okay.
I mean, she's exceptionally cute, except for the ink and she's got crazy written all over her though. Like, do you notice that little heart under her eye there?
I'm sure
that doesn't bother me as much as like the moth tattoo on the throat. You know.
Yeah, the moth tattoo is really off-putting.
I don't know. Normally, I would say no to this, but you know what?
Oh.
She looks so crazy. She might ride that shit off of me. Holy crap.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. I'm like,
it could be too
my
good a time to
mind's
pass
telling
up.
me, my mind's telling me red flags, but fuck, man.
It's smash or pass, not, I'm not, yeah.
All right.
You ain't meeting the family. Nothing's, yeah, I'll smash.
She's not meeting the family.
Yeah, I doubt her dad's been around.
Oh. I'll give her a little Molly breath mint and let her ride me. Yeah, that sounds like a good time. Smash.
Yeah. Yep. That's fair.
All right. Yuri, what do you think?
Oh, no, comrades. This will not do. This is the definition of capitalistic girl trailer trash. How does saying go? No e-girls, never. The action of getting a tattoo must have meaning. A moth on one's neck has little meaning, but look at me. I'm a whore whose mother leaves the porch light on so she can find her way home. Now my tattoo on my forehead is far deeper. It's the Hebrew letters of Resh, Vav, and Yod, or to the common Goy tongue, Cain. Make of that what you will, Command and Conquer fanboys. But there was deep thought into scarring my flesh. Where has this child of Western modernity has a head so hollow, Einstein would theorize it contained a wormhole? I shall pass, like all intelligence that passes through her empty skull.
Damn.
freaking
I mean, I'm
brutal.
not testing. I'm not giving her a star exam. I'm just fucking.
Yeah,
That
right.
was a pretty deep
Exactly.
insult, man.
Yeah, dude.
Oh.
He already has
Oh my god, dude! They did her dirty by not giving her a step stool.
I
can
know.
tell by
Right?
looking at her, she's 4 foot fucking nothing.
Yeah, she's got to be like 4'8" to like 4'10" right there. You know she's a
I love
shorty.
that.
That
Like the
is
whole
that
fucking
is
half of the picture
adorable.
missing.
You can't
That's
even see like the
ridiculous.
lines, you know, for the height chart.
I'm
Yes,
willing,
Oh,
Willy
it's too
Wonka.
funny.
One of your Oompa Loompas escaped.
I'm,
Yes, it took your car around the block. How'd you know?
I don't know. I'm willing to believe that there's some fucking dumbass police officers who can't center a camera. She looks proportionally all right.
I mean, yeah,
She
she's
got-
not a
Actually,
dwarf
she's
or a
fine.
midget, but she's
She
just
got
really
midget
short.
vibes.
But she's probably like a cheap date, you know, because she probably had like maybe 2 shots at the most.
Short
Maybe.
stack like Tina.
A
I mean,
Jello shot to her is like an entire Jello tray.
Woo-wee!
she's looking pretty normal in a good way, and
She does.
and is quite attractive. I mean, I'll smash.
I'll give the little fleshlight a spin.
Hell
She-
yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm sure she'd spin well.
And she can do that juvenile song, the pony one, the jump on it, you want it. Yeah.
Classic.
Yuri, what do you believe?
Ah, yes. I find it also amusing that most of the attractive women on mugshotties are always involved in some kind of intoxicated escapade. It's like the probability of a woman moment is compounded by the volume of alcohol she consumes. Regardless of the math, the only equations I'm doing in my head right now is how many times I can be doing her and getting head. Smash.
Oh, all right. That's a clean sweep right there.
Probably the most intellectual guest we've had.
Probably.
I don't know. I think Lex Luthor was smarter.
Oh yeah, Lex Luthor is pretty smart.
What in the fucking Macy's 90s picture is this?
I think it's a throwback to the 90s, bro. There's no way this is
What
modern.
even?
I would.
She's beautiful.
Dude,
Yes.
I love that her lip does not like align underneath her nose properly, and her nostrils are
what the
two different
fuck?
heights.
No, she's been in a fight. Her nose has been reset.
Oh my god.
Yeah, she looks like the typical 90s like Latina star.
Yeah,
What looks
like those aren't
And I love
Sharpie
it.
eyebrows, man. Those are natural.
Yeah.
She was arrested for 3 counts of aggravated assault. I mean, I didn't want to
Oh,
skip what she was
make
arrested
it
for.
4.
But...
I want her to hit me.
And
So
look,
3
man, she's got a necklace with the angel numbers on it. She didn't get the stupid
Oh, dude,
tattoo. This is a class act. I would smash.
Yeah, she's perfect.
Oh, no way. I'm like, she looks like someone took a block of wood and tried to carve a mannequin head out of it.
You could hit it
No
while listening
way.
to Thug's Bone in Harmony.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't know. I'm very impressed. She did a 3v1 in gamer terms. That's pretty impressive.
3v1 clutched. All right.
Yeah.
I'm done.
She's the champion. I would smash.
She clearly got the MVP in that fight.
And she was probably rolling support, too.
All right, Yuri, you got any gamer stuff for us?
The Shola is a fascinating subsect of the American indigenous Latin woman. They say the number of children she raises which are fatherless is an indicator of how mentally unwell she is. And by the charge, I'm willing to bet my rubles there are 2 bastards crying at Grandma's casa. Another great measure of her mental state is how high her socks rise. The more she dresses like a man, the likelier she will shoot up your crib, homie. Another determination factor of the gangbanger bust down is the number of X's she has tattooed on her breasts. It's a clear indication of how likely she is to kill you if you are unfaithful. This woman is methodical and crazy. Judging by the lack of wounds on her, she didn't assault 3 other women. She assaulted her boyfriend and his parents. for birthing such a fucking cheating asshole. The mentally unstable interest me. Only if I can control them. This one, I fear, cannot be. For my safety and the safety of my Soviet side pieces, I will pass.
That is a good call.
He
Dude,
forgot that
I
the higher the
didn't
sock,
realize
the
he was
downer the
versed.
foo.
I was gonna say, I'm like, I didn't realize you were so well versed, dog. Fuck.
All right.
I thought I was the only one well
The
versed.
next
Oh,
mugshot for tonight was arrested for a DUI and failure to stop at a stop sign. Which I'm thinking she had quite a bit. She's giving me some. She's giving me a little bit of reptilian, maybe some
I was thinking
tall
that too.
Nordic
There's a little
alien vibe to her.
reptilian.
So she's out of this world probably, and would give
we
you
were talking about
strong like
Yeah.
hybrid alien baby. So yeah, I would smash.
Yeah, right. I'm like, and you can see that 6'6". She's above, or 5. Yeah, a little
You're
taller
good.
than average here.
Earlier we were talking about songs
She's
that
5'8".
this chick screams "Gold Digger" by Kanye.
I don't know.
And I'm here for it. Smash.
I'm kind of normally not into the lizard people vibe, but she also got some Niflheim shit going here. Like, I think I'm with Klaus on this one. I think I got a smash for a chance to make super babies.
That is a fine Aryan woman, and I will bed smash.
DUI on the record. Perfect. She's perfect.
Yuri, what do you think? Is she meeting the Slavic standards?
Be still, my beating communist heart. If you shaved her head and slapped on a blonde goatee, she could pass as a 5'4" female version of me. Just look at the Romanian brow and the resting bitch face. Yes, I have no shame in loving myself. After all, I created a clone army built in my image. There are limits to my narcissism. I am still above fucking my clones, but I will fuck a female who has my same aura and facial structure. Slavic smash.
All right.
Slavic smash.
That sounds like
All
a super
right.
move. All right. I feel like this one's kind of like a downgrade of what we've been seeing. I'm gonna pass on this one. She was only arrested for a DUI.
She's very plain.
The words of Scott Steiner. She's fat.
She's got a scar on her forehead.
Was that a scar?
Yeah, that is a scar on her forehead.
How do you look 20 and you look 40 at the same time?
Yeah, she looks young and old at the same time. It's really weird.
If I get a little distance and I can't see, wow, I got distance and I see more features. That's not good.
Yeah, right. Yeah, she's pretty plain and not in a good way. I've seen Amish girls that, more smashable than this. I'm gonna pass. Can do better.
Yeah, sorry. Ain't working.
Yeah,
Stop.
Stop. Now, get out of here.
Get out of here. You're making it soft. Go away.
Yuri, what is your opinion?
Shame. Someone needs to skip the breadline and go straight to a fat concentration camp. Perhaps RFK can be contacted. The turtleneck does not fool me. Your nose, jaw, and cheeks can already tell me what the bathroom scale reads. And it reads, fatty, fatty, boom, batty, chubby, chubster. Obesity is a sign of a society of decadence and waste. I will have none of this American pig. Pass.
Damn.
Yeah,
damn. Fat shaming over here.
That shit was funny. Fatty, fat, chubby, chub.
I was not expecting that from Yuri.
Whoa, this next one has a fucking...
Yeah, this one's quite the paragraph, man. So our next mugshot, he was arrested for violating Colorado's Organized Crime Control Act, aggravated motor vehicle theft in the first degree, possession of a weapon from a previous offender, possession with the intent to manufacture and distribute a controlled substance, cyber crimes, identity theft, first-degree assault, leaving the scene of an accident, vehicular assault, as well as other charges, was part of a large organized Grand Theft Auto ring. That's a lot to unpack.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Fucking- Not only does she give me the Michael Jackson fucking stare from the end of Thriller when he looks over the shoulders with the fucking beast eyes, but my God, I know we talked about red flags earlier. This bitch looks like a parade in China.
I'm thinking like in the post-apocalyptic society, this is the woman you want to have kids with because she has all these useful skills. They're going to help you survive in the wasteland. I would smash.
I don't
10 out of 10.
know.
This one is 10 out of 10. Very talented. Yeah, they are very talented.
Dude, this isn't even the whole rap sheet, as well as other charges. I think I'm gonna
fucking crazy.
I am gonna pass because I don't want to open Pandora's box.
You are a coward, sir.
Yeah.
Today I am.
Look, I'm gonna be honest, dude. If she's got identity theft, first-degree assault, vehicular assault, cyber crimes, dude, you fuck that and run. Goodbye to your bank account. Goodbye to your identity.
She's gonna find you. You're not gonna run.
You're gonna get run over. She's gonna put drugs in your system. She's gonna shoot you with a dirty gun, dude. It's a wrap. I'm good. I'll pass, dude. That is a
cowards. All
Hey man,
Van,
have
what's your
fun until she tells you it's her turn.
Van? What's your verdict?
I'm willing to smash. I'm willing to take that risk. You know, I want to try. I want to see what I can do.
Have fun with those problems.
Yeah, I like Klaus said. You know, that's a lot of skills there, dude. Like
it is a lot of skills. I'm not denying her skill set.
In the
Her skill set scares me.
in the ethno state, she's certainly a breeder. You know, right there. Should give all the kids the traits we need. All right, Yuri, what do you think?
We need a tiebreaker.
Eyes are so haunting. I almost feel I am the one under her mind control. I can feel her psychic powers taking over. Well, would you look at that? She caused me to premature in my trousers. What a gal if she can do that on the astral plane. I can't wait to try her in the physical realm. Smash.
Damn.
Well, he's already done the astral thing that I proposed.
Smash.
Okay.
She could probably
Smash.
cut his tether too when she gets pissed off.
Our
next mugshotty for tonight was one for grand theft. She walked out of a tattoo shop after receiving $800 worth of tattoos and not paying.
Smash.
I
dig the eye thing.
Wish we could see the tattoo.
That's very exotic. I kind of wonder is this a good tattoo or is this a bad tattoo? And and she was on the right, kind of thing. It's I need more information. But as an artist, that's also I don't like doing work and not getting paid. So it's like I'm torn, man. I can't make a decision.
Yeah, right.
I need more information.
I'm on the fence too.
I totally understand where you're coming from. However, $800 worth of a tattoo, man, that could be a pretty big tattoo. That could be a half sleeve. That could be something. And if it, let's say it was good work in the beginning, and then the line work is all fucked. Well, shit. I don't want to pay another $800 for you to touch up when you should have been, good to begin with.
Yeah, I feel like we need a picture of this tattoo for a fair call. I really do.
Especially if it's a womb tattoo.
Oh.
That's degenerate shit. That's pretty degenerate.
I don't care, dude. I'll fill that bitch full. I don't care.
No, I'm so on the fence here. I'm gonna resign myself from making a decision because it's.
What? I've never heard.
It's not even a choice, isn't it? This is A or B.
Yeah, Yeah.
Oh my god.
The answer?
I guess I'll roll. Oh my god.
Roll the
How
dice.
do I pick? Roll the dice.
Yeah.
Hey.
And you got
All right. Google random number generator.
oh god.
I think it'd be
Odds
slash roll
I
1d2.
smash, evens I don't.
Okay, that's fair.
Odds I'm smashing.
Let's go.
All right,
go.
what's Yuri gotta say?
As I stated earlier, tattoos must be meaningful. And whatever she received and walked out with was meaningful enough to go to prison for grand theft. I admire her tenacity and conviction in her criminal conviction. I also find heterochromia sexy, but it won't matter, because when I'm done with her, both her eyes will look the same when they roll to the back of her head in ecstasy and go all white. Smash.
Oh yeah.
I was not ready for that.
That's giving the girl the Undertaker, you know.
All right, so our final mugshotty for tonight was arrested for shoplifting. I'm thinking she was stealing a bite to eat. Look how thin she is.
I mean,
I wouldn't hold it against her. I'd smash.
No
I don't
boobs.
know.
No, fucking so true.
I don't
No
know.
boobs. Fucking.
People like that get that thin on purpose, and I don't know. I have no respect for shoplifters. I think under principle I have to pass. I'm a shop owner.
I'm gonna be honest. The Giga Chad chins really throwing me off. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
fucking.
the jaw. Yeah,
Yeah, that jawline's fucking crazy. It makes her neck look massive. Her neck just doesn't work now.
Okay.
She can be a throat goat with that neck.
Dude, she looks like she could take a solid right and left hook and still be. Is that all you got?
All right, Yuri, what do you think?
What a petty crime compared to all the madness this show has witnessed. It's almost disappointing. Perhaps I can help her step up her game and be worthy of my world-dominating phallus. Smash. Well, it's been fun. But I am currently plotting my next moves towards said world domination. In the meantime, before I completely overtake the world's consciousness, please subscribe to my YouTube channel at Yuri ASMR, where you can hear me give you relaxing psychic commands to help you sleep. But one of my best videos is me reporting on how your forces are doing. Let me give you a preview. Hello, Commander. Establishing battlefield control. Stand by. Stand by. By. Incoming transmission. Construction complete. Reinforcements have arrived. Arrived. Low power. Building captured. Mission accomplished.
Is this a real thing, Van?
Did you know? Well, hold on, Yuri. Okay, let Yuri finish his pitch.
That's all you freeloading American monks get. Farewell, and keep up the good work, atomic comrades.
До свидания, товарищ. All right, so
Why?
Good Juice, you got some poll data?
Yeah. Why do I have the feeling Yuri's ASMR is gonna do well?
While you sleep. Shit yourself. Shit yourself.
Yes, we have some poll data this week.
He has some anime waifu Yuri patches though that
Oh,
I was
yeah,
not
those were-
prepared for. Those were kind of cool though.
You're so
We
bad. If you're sitting with your ears closed, I'd recommend opening them up for this moment.
all right. So we asked Dr. Stephen Greer has been a known grifter in the UFO scene for years. Which is the biggest grift? CE5 Ocean Cruise, 16.7%. Free Energy Initiative, 25%. Alien meditation seminars, 33.3%, and UFO disclosure, 25%.
So Dr. Stephen Gear has raised over $1 million for the Energy Initiative, but his CE5
That
Ocean
much?
Cruise is like $28,500. His UFO contact seminars are about $3,500 just to spend a week with him to learn how to meditate and supposedly summon UFOs with your own thoughts. When I posted that, I pissed off one of his fanboys because he tried to start an argument with me.
Good.
So he was legitimate. It was pretty funny.
I don't get the Greer thing.
No, I don't either.
3.5 thousand for being like, yeah, man, here's the alien's phone number. Swear to God, it works.
Trust
Scammers, con artists, chat. Put me on.
Dude,
They're con artists.
I'm just trying to prove to everyone E.T. was stupid.
Oh.
Yeah.
E.T. Dude, Robot Chicken called out E.T. and was like, yeah, dude, he's actually autistic.
He totally was, though.
They're like, oh, this fucking guy, dude. Get the fuck off the... No, get off the ship, dude. You're not coming with us. Fuck you.
Autism.
Let's see, we also asked, MK Ultra was a CIA experiment in mind control. What would you rather be? 9.1% said MK Ultra volunteer. 9.1% said MK Ultra victim. 36.4% said MK Ultra administrator, and 45.5% said MK Ultra enthusiast.
Yeah, some people want the drugs.
Base.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's fair.
We also asked, what's the creepiest thing you've encountered? 15.2% said voices in your head. 18.2% said objects moving on their own. 48.5% said meth heads. And 18.2% said finding satanic altars. I am repeating these, aren't I?
Yeah, I think these are from last shows. We have some new ones.
Let's see. I recognize. All right, here's one I don't recognize. We'll start from there. If you encountered. Nope. I recognize that one.
Pattern recognition, it's working.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
You're gonna ask
Whatever.
to protect when you recognize the next one, don't you worry.
Does it? Nope. Whatever. I'll start from here. Does a caste system exist in your country? 20% said yes, based on skin color. 20% said yes, based on lineage. 50% said no, it does not. And 10% said, what is a caste?
I mean,
We're talking about India like last show, so that's why we brought up the whole caste system stuff. Since they've got like, what was it, 25,000 subcasts depending on your occupation.
Oh
It was
my
pretty
god,
wild.
it's ridiculous how many.
By the many
Yeah.
arms of Vishnu, I swear it is a lie.
And then they had to make fucking departments and extra departments and this, that, and the other thing with their fucking government because of all this. They need to just give up. Let's see. We asked, who is your favorite cryptid in the Midwest? 33.3% said Loveland Frogman. 11.1% said Dogman. 22.2% said Ohio Grassman. And 33.3% said Hopkinsville Goblin.
No.
Yeah.
My
So
favorite.
the Dogman's from Michigan, so he's not exactly from Ohio. Half of these were from Ohio, and the Hopkinsville Goblins are from Kentucky.
I don't know. Every time I hear the Grassman thing, I'm reminded of that dumb old song, Grassman Knows Where the Grass May Grow.
Well, the Grassman is pretty much just their version of Bigfoot. That's all it is. And
Yeah.
he just appears, I guess, covered in foliage, kind of like Swamp Thing or something.
Is Wyoming in the Midwest?
No.
Damn.
That's further west.
Is it considered the mid?
It's definitely flyover country.
Fish... Yeah, I gotta say, how far west do you like? What is technically?
Yeah, what is technically west in the Midwest?
Midwest.
Because I think
I don't know.
I was gonna say Cobra is my favorite Midwest cryptid.
He's not a cryptid.
He is a cryptid.
He so is. Let's see. We asked, are remote viewing and astral projection the same thing? 57.1% said no, they're different. 0% said yes, they're the same. 21.4% said they're fake and gay. And 21.4% said, take your meds, schizo.
It sounds like our audience is very well versed on the subject since they seem to know what it was.
I guess. I'm like, I suppose that means hope that doesn't mean we were boring.
No.
Would you use sigil magic to manifest a girlfriend? 9.1% said, yes, I want a thick plug. 4.5% said, give me a big titty blonde. 36.4% said, can I has a milky goth GF? And 50% said, no, she'll be cursed.
That was like a battle, like if while you were watching like the whole voting going on, because it was tied for a while, and it seemed like they were going to struggle to try to overcome and say no, she'll be cursed. There was a video that came out where some guy was using sigils to manifest matches on Tinder, and he was happy with his success, and he was like inspired by comic book writer. What's it? Not Garth Ennis. I'm trying to think of his. He's bald. I can't remember his name. Oh fuck! But if you watch the video, he's in there. He works for DC Comics. That's all I can remember at the top of my head. I forgot his name. I should have wrote it down.
I want an imaginary girlfriend that I can just.
It was Grant Morrison. It was Grant Morrison who talked about sigil magic. That's what it was.
I want to demean her and call her ugly and make her feel unworthy, and that way she.
I'm a big strong man to gaslight me into doing things. Ooh.
Let's see. We also asked veterans, did you ever encounter ghosts or something unexplained during active duty? 50% said yes in the barracks. 10% said yes at the main gate. 20% said yes while on patrol. And 20% said yes while deployed. Yeah, I think every service person I've ever met has encountered something ghosty.
I encountered jellyfish in the showers, but that's not unexplained. We know what that was.
Oh, bro.
There's some weird shit out in Vegas. That's about it.
Oh, there's like I heard Hawaii's very haunted with like ghosts from World War II.
And thus concludes our polling for this week.
I'd like to thank our guest, Midnight in the Mountains, coming out. It's a shame he couldn't stay up later and tell everybody about the premiere of his show that'll start April 25th this month. Thanks for coming out. Smug, do you have anything you want to show?
No, I just wanted to just hang out, help out, and that's all.
Thanks for hanging out with the boys. Dan, did you have anything you want to show?
Next week I should be back on schedule with Destination Unknown on Tuesdays. You can find it on my YouTube channel at Van Rollington, or my Rumble channel at Van Rollington, or my Twitch channel at Van Rollington. I'm really on my fucking branding, all right? That takes fucking hard work to get all these fucking channels ahead of time before people start stealing them. So, yeah,
I know.
Ain't that the truth?
It's true. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think this Friday I'm supposed to be a guest on Not Nice's horror. I forgot what it was called. Review or something like that. I don't know if he just reviews horror stories or he has people call in and tell their horror stories. But I'll try to make it Friday. Hopefully he'll contact me and let me know what time he starts and we can start recording and all that fun stuff. And then I'll try to be a guest on Midnight in the Mountains premiere episode on the 25th. And everyone's open invite to go ahead and call in a show because he's going to do the Art Bell thing and have a call-in show. And we'll see with his thermal camera if he captures any critters that don't seem to be normal for his neck of the woods. And with that, I'll be playing us out.
Smoke weed every day.
stockpile. For the zombies, homie, watch out. The feds are plotting now, they knocking like they locked out. Not now, I'm busy. Your door get knocked down, drop trial, showing y'all the proper way to rock out. I know how this go, looking through the crystal. Everybody hates me, and it's every day the list grows. Beat around the bush, yeah. I learned to tiptoe and stand against an army, plugging barrels with the pick rows. Look at who they follow, look at who you follow. If you want me, you can find me at the bottom of the bottle, in the corner of the room, or on the moon like Apollo. For fuck's sake, the earth is not flat, it's hollow, and there's Nazis in it. Shit, if that's true, you're probably gonna find me in it, vibing while we fry Hasidics, ashes in the sky's the limit. I'm just rhyming with it, this is my demented mind, and y'all just climbed up in it. Every now and then I can get retarded, people nowadays just getting me started. You don't like it, you can beg my pardon, come and watch the world burn at my party. Every now and then I can get retarded, people nowadays just getting me started. You don't like it, you can beg my pardon, come and watch the world burn at my party. Coming proper with the grammar, you bet I know who they is, but recognizing patterns nowadays is fucking dangerous. Just ask Trevor Noah, he could tell your heads are rolling. It's bloody paradise, like a bunch of dead Samoans. Join me on the balcony, you niggas gotta see this shit. I crossed the line like fucking Trump in North Korea, bitch, yo. LA's on fire, won't somebody get the chief on the wire? Nope, cause don't nobody care. I fucking love the smell of burning plastic in the air. I give not a fuck. I found the first mosque and shot it up. Rolled down the window in the truck and yelled Muhammad sucks. Ooh, I'm so edgy I just cut myself. Bitch, I never leave a damn crib if I could fuck myself. Call me all them names, go ahead, it's the basics. I drop these bars and hit the bar up in the spaceship. Every now and then I can get retarded, people nowadays just getting me started. You don't like it, you can beg my pardon, come and watch the world burn at my party. Every now and then I can get retarded, people nowadays just getting me started. You don't like it, you can beg my pardon, come and watch the world burn at my party.